Now I want to talk about artificial intelligence. Started back around 1956. Artificial intelligence is being talked about all over the world, some of it good, some of it bad. There's a big worry about how intelligent is artificial intelligence going to get. Well, they started out with things like artificial neural networks, which kind of resemble the structure of the brain. They found that artificial intelligence is great for many, many things. They can translate between languages with a proficiency way beyond what a human can do. They can produce photorealistic images of humans and animals. They can speak with the voices of people whom they've listened to. They can mimic those voices. They can even be taught to drive a car, to work robotic arms. Now, back in 2017, a company by the name of DeepMind created a neural network-based system, and they were teaching it to play chess from scratch. And in less time than it took two professionals to play two games, this discovered how to play chess way beyond humans. They also worked on a game that is called Go, G-O. Go is an abstract strategy game for two players in which it's kind of a giant board game, and they had quite a bit of strategy into this thing. And basically the idea behind it is you're going to try to get and neutralize one particular individual, which is called the king. And using this neural network that they developed, they managed to, within 8 hours, these machines learned to surpass the ability of any human. That's so rather quick that they can learn. Now, the AI has people worried all over the place about many things. Concerns about social discrimination, mass unemployment, supporting surveillance. These machines, of course, could tap into just about anything, violating normal warfare. In general, is it going to pose a risk to humanity? Humanity is worried about controlling its own fate. Right now, we're way ahead of everything on the planet. Monkeys, birds, lions, tigers, because we're in a position to shape our world as a direct result of our mental abilities. And then the question is, what happens if you turn on this AI and it, of course, surpasses human abilities in every spot that we can think of? How are we supposed to retain control of these things that are much, much ahead of us? And they're wondering if they're taking this AI and creating what they call an artificial general intelligence, which not only has superior learning skills, but it also has things like reinforcing the learning. It has to do with reward and punishment. Perform these acts in a certain way and they get rewarded. With enough intelligence and experience, AI beings would be quite significant. They create quite a benchmark for a human to reach. One thing they're trying to think of doing with artificial intelligence is can they teach this human values? Well, now that's a hell of an idea, because think about human values from one person to the next, the difference in values. Which particular set of values would you choose to have the artificial intelligence emulate? That's a big question. I've often wondered, they're talking about artificial intelligence, using it in manufacturing. Now, I know they're not going to take sick days and not going to take vacations and not going to come in hungover from watching Monday Night Football. How are they going to be for pride and quality? I mean, I know the machines that will be programmed to take part A into part B. How much pride is actually going to be put into their work? It's something people add to their jobs. There are many places where someone can see they're doing something in an assembly line. I read of one instance in a Harley Davidson plant where an individual got something across and he looked at it and, well, it did pass standards, but he just didn't like the way it was done. And he followed the procedure and stopped the entire line, called the bosses over and said, hey, we've been doing this all this time like this, but we really could do something better by doing A, B, C, or D. They found that they could make quite an improved product, and all because one guy stood up and raised his hand and said, this meets standards, but it could be better. Is a machine going to do that? I don't know. Now, what would these machines do to survive? Now, supposedly we're going to try and control these machines, but what would they possibly do to survive? Well, they're going to get access to the internet. Now, there's something. They can get out on the internet and they can do little backups of themselves. Yeah, imagine what they could do. They get out there and they just in case somebody turns me off and I don't reply in time, my backup will wake up and set me back online. And I think these machines, they could do all kinds of strange things. They could get out there in the internet, probably quite easily hack into any place that they wanted to, start erasing hard drives in very important spots. That could make some real problems. They could take over just about every unsecured system on the internet and create their own little AI net, and it would be quite different because now they'd have a platform for getting more power from everywhere. And then, of course, being quite well that they can hack into computer systems, they could hack into bank accounts. They could begin to control the money flow in the world, and most of this stuff probably could easily be done by the early artificial intelligence beings. Would probably just a little snip in time for the modern AI, but it's something we got to think about. Exactly where are we going with AI, and are we going to be happy when we get there? I don't know. It's an interesting thing to think of. I don't know if you've ever actually thought about it, but thanks very much for listening. Please take care, like, subscribe, share, and feel free to leave a comment. Take care, everybody.